Narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships can cast a spell on you that leaves you in this place where you are trying to prove something to yourself, to people around you, and even to the narcissist who you are trying to stay away from and eliminate from your life. Now, when you spend your life trying to prove something to everybody else in order to try to get validation, it can actually trigger further PTSD. It can feel like you have never quite escaped the toxic relationship or the narcissist, and we want to stop that. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, this is a response to a woman who has written in, who has gone through a divorce with a toxic, narcissistic ex-spouse. And with the ex-spouse out of the picture now, she's finding herself in this dynamic with her adult-aged kids where her PTSD is being triggered much like it was when she was still in the toxic relationship with her narcissistic ex. And what she's discovered is that she's finding out that she's overcompensating and giving and giving and giving to her adult-aged kids. Not that they're narcissistic or even toxic, but that she can simply not stop giving and overcompensating, and it's driving herself mad. It's triggering her PTSD. And now there's a couple reasons why this could be happening. Number one, there could obviously be some shame and some guilt because of the fact that the marriage has ended. And naturally, when the marriage ends, you want to overcompensate because you feel like you have to make up for the loss of that broken marriage that you weren't able to hold on to. That's reason number one. It could be that, but it could also be number two, which is the main thing I want to talk about. And that is this idea that you need to prove something to yourself and to everybody else around you. Now, when you are in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, it does not matter if it's a family, a spouse, siblings, coworkers, the way in which they beat you down verbally by demeaning you, devaluing you, letting you know that you're not wanted, you are not loved, you are not valued, you are not capable of doing anything, this really puts you in this low spot. And the problem is that even in the toxic relationship, you start to get to this point where you are scrambling to get out of this box that they've put you in, this box that says you're not capable of doing anything. You're in the toxic relationship trying to bust out. You're trying to save the relationship. You're trying to prove something in the relationship. And this is what causes you so much pain. It's not that you've been bullied and abused and you've just gotten away. No, the real pain comes from you trying over and over and over and giving of yourself and giving of yourself and giving of yourself to get nothing in return. That's the real pain of narcissistic abuse. That's the real pain of toxic relationships, is your own failure to recognize that nothing you are doing is going to fix or solve the toxic situation. All right? Now, when you get out of that toxic situation, what we can do without even being aware of it, and this may be what this woman is doing, is she is now looking at her adult-aged kids who are not narcissistic and not toxic, by the way, but she's overcompensating, trying to prove her worth, her value, trying to receive validation from her kids, still trying to make up for what the narcissistic ex-spouse has done to her, still trying to make up, saying, I'm not a bad person, I am capable, I am loving. So all she did was transfer that effort, transfer that overcompensating effort from her ex-narcissistic partner to now her own kids, her adult-aged kids. And she's back in this place where she's giving and giving and giving. And it's triggering the PTSD because it's reminding her of being back in the toxic relationship. Even though she's no longer in the toxic relationship, that toxicity now exists inside of her, as it can exist inside of you and me. If we do not get it out, if we don't get rid of our need to try to find validation from our outside of ourselves, right? Then we live with that need. We live with this gaping hole and we're trying to fill that hole by proving ourselves, by overcompensating, by exhausting ourselves with others, hoping that they can fill that hole inside of us and let us know how valuable and how amazing we are. And now watch this. The real damaging and the real scary and the real toxic part about this is that if you're not careful, you can project onto other people pain and suffering and misery that may or may not exist there, simply so that you can go and save and be the hero and prove yourself in the situation. I'm going to say this again. Somebody needs to hear this. If you're not careful, you can project pain and suffering onto other people that may or may not exist so that you can rush in and be the hero and the savior so that you can start to fill that hole, so that you can start to get that validation so that you can feel better. There's a probability that she's doing this with her adult-aged kids. Who knows? Maybe they're happy the divorce happens. When you're brought up in a toxic environment, mom and dad are constantly toxic and going at it. Maybe they're like, thank God it's over. But if she finds herself in this place where she's like, no, you're in so much pain and you've got to understand it. I'm going to be here for you. Now she's projecting onto them this pain so she can feel like a hero. And I'm not saying this is what's happening. However, what I am saying is that if you're doing this, overcompensating, projecting that pain, trying to be a hero, trying to fix now the kids because you were not able to fix the narcissistic ex, so you're transferring that need to fix something over to your adult-aged kids, it's not going to work because they don't need a fixing. And once again, it's going to leave you with that hole and it's going to trigger that PTSD. It's going to continue that pain inside of you. Why? Because you're not getting the validation that you need. Now, the key to all of this is to stop needing outside validation. The whole point of going no contact, going into self-isolation, getting toxic people out of your life is to find yourself in a place where you alone and nobody else, you start to accept yourself for who you are. You realize that you are good enough without doing anything for anybody else. The first person you need to do something for is yourself. You deserve your healing. You deserve to be gone through and filtered through and made complete. And the only one that can make you complete is God. He's already made you complete. You just need to realize it, that you have everything that you need right here. Everything external is added to you so that you can share worlds, but that's it. You are made complete. In the ancient literature of the Bible, when it says that humanity was made in the image of God. What is that? It's made in the image of completeness. You are made complete. You do not need outside validation. It's culture and society that tells you that you need to prove your worth to your spouses and your friends and your coworkers. No, you don't. You don't need to prove anything. Obviously, if you got a job, you need to work so you get paid. If you're in a relationship, you need to manage giving so you can give. That's just it's an exchange. It's a partnership. But when it's toxic, it doesn't need to be. But outside of this, you need to first be filled on your own. Let go. To the woman that I'm addressing, let go of your kids. Let go of trying to project pain onto them that may not exist. And we all need to pay attention to this. We all need to let go of trying to create a need that we can solve. We don't need to create a need because there's real needs. You know, I did not make the royal we to create the need for people who are healing from narcissistic abuse. There's already people who need healing from narcissistic abuse. I myself am still healing from this. So I'm just working from within myself to give out. I'm not looking for validation. I'd be talking even if nobody was listening because I just like to talk and this is how I process stuff. Right? So it's not about finding validation. It's about feeling complete and healing on this journey. And then you can always be that person that can be supportive of others. But you don't rely on supporting others to be your validation. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey even further. Down below, you can schedule one-on-one appointments with me. We could do a telephone call, a FaceTime, or a WhatsApp consultation, or a text message consultation. In addition to that, down below, you'll find access to Monday Night Live Chat, where we come together as a community. You can ask questions, answer questions. You could even call me for free, as long as you understand that the show is live. And Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock a.m. is Royal We Fellowship, an in-depth biblical study as it pertains to this toxic world of narcissistic abuse. It's unlike any other Bible study you've been a part of. You can find access to this and much more down below in the description box. Be sure to subscribe, like this channel, share it with somebody who's struggling right now, and I'll be back with more videos for you right here on The Royal We.